gotta say, I was mind blown seeing how the atmosphere from football over in Europe transferred into the Euro League or basketball. So today we're gonna be reacting to how Europe stole basketball. Now, I briefly read through some of the comments. They said the biggest markets for this sport are like Greece, Turkey, Serbia, Italy, Lithuania. So there's a few different places that are really big fans of basketball, but I really did not know how popular basketball was over there in that part of the world. So this is gonna be really interesting. Even hearing the chants, man. You don't get this in the NBA.
This is not a football game. It's not a World Cup final. This is the EuroLeague, the most intense basketball competition in Europe. It launched the careers of superstars like Nikola Jokic, Victor Wembanyama, and Luka Doncic. Sooner or later, they all joined the NBA. But in the future, they might choose to stay in Europe instead. Why? The EuroLeague is booming. Audiences are packed, and it's growing every day. The entire continent is slowly getting hooked on what used to be America's sport. Meanwhile,
You don't
the
see
NBA,
this, man.
the biggest basketball brand on earth, is spiraling into a crisis. Attendance is falling, TV audiences are dropping, and an entire generation is tuning out.
I'm gonna tell you why this is happening. Preseason and everything leading up to postseason is unbelievably boring. When they started doing the in-season tournament, I actually thought that was a great idea. That the one thing that I like about football is that there's always something happening. There's always something interesting going on, some kind of cup tournament, like qualification, even friendlies. There's always something going on. The issue that I have with the NBA, and to a lesser extent the NFL is a little bit different. The NBA is, there are so many meaningless games. Most teams, I don't remember what the exact number was, but most teams play what, like 70, 80 games a year? Then they go into postseason where it actually starts mattering, where the playoffs matter. There are so many useless matches that go on in the NBA, all for one final. NBA started, I think, in what, September? And I'm generally more of a NFL slash, as we call it over here, soccer fan than I am of an NBA fan. It starts in September and then it ends in June of next year, if I'm not mistaken. You got so much time in between between now and then for basically nothing to be happening up until it gets closer and closer to those playoff dates. I've always hated how long the NBA season was. It's just boring. There's nothing going on. Nobody really cares anymore. I mean, what can you do, man? The most exciting time within recent years for the NBA was the Warriors versus Cavs era back in the 2010s, all the way up to the end of, so 2020, basically. I'm saying that primarily a little bit biased as a Cleveland, like, local. I'm from Cleveland, so that era during the Cavs versus Warriors, while brutal, we got our ass whooped a lot. That was fun. I can't say I'm surprised anymore. I mean, it's generally just not that entertaining of a sport right now.
The NBA may still have an ace left up its sleeve, a $3 billion last-minute gamble.
And what's
Only
that?
The shocking financial state of the EuroLeague could still stand in the way. But first, what on earth happened to the NBA? This was the moment Stephen Curry first broke the all-time three-pointer record in a season, the first of many record-breaking moments in Steph's career. But to many, it was the beginning of the end.
The Warriors era?
More three-point shots than ever before. Here, you can see that number steadily climbing over the years. Back in 1980, only around 3% of shots taken were three-pointers. Today, over 36% of attempts were from the three-point line. Players like Steph Curry have revolutionized the game with their accuracy, forcing all teams to adapt and replicate. That translated into a different style of play. Slower paced action, fewer slam dunks, and less physical body-to-body battles. No rules are being broken, but the change has frustrated fans.
I'm going to add this and then I'm not going to pause it again. I think another big issue with that too is it's way too easy to get fouled in the NBA. Nobody wants to constantly try to push into a crowd of guys and get fouled for the lightest touch. Drawing fouls is too easy. I've always thought that the modern NBA is Granted, I didn't grow up in the 90s with the old school NBA or whatever, but modern NBA is generally very soft. The lightest touch is a foul. The lightest this, the lightest that. You can't say this. You can't talk trash. You get ejected. It's way too soft. And I think that's probably also a bigger reason as to why three-pointers are probably being taken more. I don't know. That's just my own personal assumptions.
Is this product a little monotonous with the threes? Yes, it is. Let's not look. When Steph was doing it, he was the only one doing it. Now everyone's bombing threes all the time.
There's no basketball anymore. There's no beauty in it. It's pretty boring, but it is what it is. You need to work with it.
But fans are just as angry about what's happening off the court, especially something called load management.
Load
The
management?
season is long.
Yes.
82 games long.
Yes.
Plus preseason and exhibition games.
Yeah.
And so, backed by science and medicine, teams started strategically sitting out their players to maximize their performance and longevity. Seeing superstars like LeBron James, Steph Curry, or Kevin Durant sitting on the sidelines is not what fans expect. And if star players aren't showing up to play, then neither will the fans. In response,
Yeah.
the NBA introduced the player participation policy. It outlines that no more than one star player can be unavailable for the same game, and that resting star players need to be balanced between both home and away games.
It's all to make money, too.
Even
it's
further
all
off
to make
the
money.
court, the NBA has been accused of getting caught up in politics. When Black Lives Matter protests swept the country in response to police brutality, players, coaches, and teams signaled their support for the movement, walking out of games and painting courts black. It was a strong show of support. But some polls showed that up to 38% of people were watching less basketball because it had become too political. The talking point even made its way to the White House.
I don't know much about the NBA protest. I know their ratings have been very bad because I think people are a little tired of the NBA. They become
This is a problem we have over here, though. Everything, if you look at football, politics run through every element of the game. That's what makes it so enjoyable. It's on a deep, personal, borderline neurological attachment. It's insane how much that sport is attached to the people. Okay, whether you agree or disagree with the Black Lives Matter stuff, the point is, sports in most other countries are almost always tied to something political, and that's what attaches those sports to the people. Over here, people freak out whenever there's anything political within any sport. And I'm not going to say I'm not guilty of that from time to time, because I feel like there's a lot that just kind of goes on over here. That's one of the biggest issues over here, is that people are afraid of these deeper topics, these deeper situations and discussions. Look at Barcelona in the video that we watched about Jose Mourinho versus Pep. Pep was literally there standing, giving a speech for Catalan like independence or something. I can't fully remember what he was saying, but you've got the entire manager leading a rally talking about these deeper issues and topics. Now, another issue too is that fans are just strictly attached to the star players over here, because unlike the rest of the world, once again, people don't come for the team for the most part. It's always for the star players, unfortunately. But this right here, it's silly. It's so silly that this generally had an effect on ratings, because people are just afraid of these particular issues and talking about them.
about the NBA protest. I know their ratings have been very bad because I think people are a little tired of the NBA. They've become like a political organization, and that's not a good thing.
Whatever the reason, three-pointers, personalities, or politics, the effects are undeniable. The NBA is falling in popularity. In November 2024,
It didn't always used to be about star
viewership
players.
was down 28% compared to the same time a year earlier. Those numbers came from ESPN, and between the three major broadcasting networks, ESPN, ABC, and TNT, viewership for the NBA Cup semifinals that year was down almost 20%.
I believe it.
These drops are happening across the board. There was a 21% drop in men's college basketball and a 38% drop in women's college basketball.
Wow, I didn't know
Last
that.
year, the NBA signed an 11-year broadcasting deal with Disney, NBA, and Amazon worth $76 billion. But these multimedia giants may already be regretting putting pen to paper.
Nobody wants
They
to pay
are
for
no
these
doubt
either.
concerned watching how the viewing numbers are trending. And the demographic losing ground the fastest? Young people. In the last 5 years, the 18 to 34-year-old age group has dropped 30%. For young viewers, the NBA is up against streaming, short-form digital content, and social media. The explosion of different platforms, devices, and increased access to illegal streaming make it more competitive than ever.
Yeah.
With these options, younger people are cord cutting off their cable access much more than their parents did.
Nobody wants to pay for any
Within
of
the
this.
space of a generation, we may be witnessing the NBA fast fading into the background. However, there is an even deeper issue at play here, one connected to Europe. And over there, one league is thriving. So what is it doing that the NBA can't seem to? In Europe, there is a very different basketball organization, the EuroLeague. It's not confined to one country. Players aren't being paid $50 million a year. And the team names are mainly known for a different sport.
Yep.
And it's on the verge of unlocking its full potential.
I think this is a good
There
thing. Competition
are
is
dozens
healthy.
of national leagues in European basketball, like the French LNB Elite and the German Basketball Bundesliga.
Never heard of this.
Taken separately, no single national basketball league in Europe stands a chance at challenging the NBA's dominance. But together, by uniting the best teams of each league, the EuroLeague is a formidable force.
Kind of like the
The modern
Champions League.
version was born in 2001, when the FIBA Super League and the EuroLeague merged. It's distinct from these national leagues. 12 of the teams are permanent members. Among them are teams connected to major football clubs, like Real Madrid Baloncesto, FC Barcelona Basket, and Bayern
Basket.
München Basketball. And in the last decade, the EuroLeague has been soaring. In 2014, the EuroLeague had a 27% increase in TV viewership and a 19% increase in attendance. Their biggest growth markets were Turkey, Serbia, and Greece. And in the 2022 to 2023 season, there was an accumulated 4.4 billion viewers of EuroLeague content, both on TV, streaming, or through social media. How?
Didn't know that. Wow.
First, through quality. Right now, there are 60 European players in the NBA, and early in their careers, almost all of them played in the EuroLeague.
I feel like EuroLeague league is incredible league, very, very talented. Probably the top 2, 3, 4 teams in the EuroLeague, the NBA teams.
There is a different style of play too. Instead of 12-minute quarters, there are 10-minute quarters.
Scoring is easier in NBA just because of the amount of the different rules, the less space, the time. So that's why I said it.
There is much more emphasis on team play and strategy instead of individual strength like in the NBA. And this kind of fast-paced, high-action sport is winning over the next generation. It goes back to the COVID-19 pandemic. Like other sports leagues, lockdowns meant limited in-person fans.
Yep.
And the EuroLeague was forced to get creative. Some of the strategies included 180-degree virtual reality cameras, an 8-hour-a-day digital show broadcasting the finals, virtual seats set up around stadiums to engage viewers at home,
They did
and
this for the
an
NBA
augmented
too.
reality pre-game show.
What the fuck?
These innovations were a gamble, but they paid off. There was as much as a 75% growth of viewing numbers compared to the 2018 to 2019
That's
season,
insane.
with digital platform engagement more than doubling, and the growth hasn't slowed down. In the 2023 Final Four, which is the equivalent of the playoffs in the NBA, views were exploding. Up over 100% on Twitter, 120% on Instagram, and 160% on YouTube. Even with this enormous success, there is a huge glaring problem in the middle of the EuroLeague.
Yep.
Money.
Yep. Money.
The
Yep.
best paid player is making just $4 million, and the average of the league is around $750,000. Compare that to the NBA, where the average is almost $12 million.
Yeah.
And
You
to
make
put
a
it
lot
all
of
into
money in the NBA.
perspective, you could take the top 10 highest earners in the EuroLeague, combine their salaries, and it would still be less than half of Steph Curry's, who makes $63 million a year. Plus, the majority of teams are not profitable. According to financial statements from the team's parent owner, Turkish team Anadolu Efes has a budget of around 29 million euros for the 2022 season. Revenue and income for the club are nowhere near that amount. Even Real Madrid, the reigning champions of the EuroLeague, are operating on a loss. Its projected budget for this season is 44.5 million euros. That's more than 5 times the average in the French league. But Real Madrid is preparing to take a 19 million euro loss. Real Madrid, through its football club, brought in over $1 billion. And this is how many EuroLeague teams survive.
Yep, through their football
Anadolu
clubs.
Efes is backed by the Turkish drinks conglomerate of the same name, which posted $6.7 billion in revenue last year.
Okay.
So why are these massive businesses willing to bleed money for a basketball team? They are taking a loss in the short term to bet big on the future. And it looks like their bets are about to pay off. The European basketball market has been estimated to be capable of generating $3 billion per year in revenue.
So it's just a gamble,
EuroLeague owners
literally.
are on track to unlock that potential.
Yep.
But they will have to move fast. The race is on. For months, there have been whispers of the NBA creating a new league in Europe. And recently,
Really?
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver revealed that these plans are now moving into the next stage. For now, the EuroLeague teams are standing strong together. The permanent teams signed a new contract to stay in the league until at least 2035. But money talks, and the NBA franchises in places like London or Paris could be worth a minimum of $500 million.
Here we go.
The
This is the
value of the
problem.
Euro-
Immediately going into the franchise model. I don't like that. I don't like the franchise model. I don't like it in esports. I don't like it in regular sports. Not a fan of it at all. I generally like the idea that a team can be just born out of a location and climb its way up. Obviously, you got some permanent teams within the EuroLeague, so they're kind of like a little franchise. The majority of the time, I really do think it's better when teams can be created and they climb through a system and they succeed like that. It's why I love Counter-Strike. It's why I love that game. You can have a random tier 3 team find their stride, go through a bunch of different qualifiers throughout a year, and suddenly find themselves maybe in tier 2, tier 1 even, depending on how well they do throughout the year with everything, you know? I think that's just a better system. I think it's way more fun. Call of Duty did a franchise system, and it kind of killed the esport compared to how it used to be 6-7 years ago, you know? A franchise system for countries could be different compared to it all being within one country, because the US franchises are based out of just individual cities in the US, and if somebody has the right price tag outside of Ohio, you know, a team theoretically could move. Now there are people that are attached to these teams because they come from cities. Cleveland fans ride or die for the Cavaliers, just like how you've seen they do with the Columbus Crew, the Browns, Ohio State. All of Ohio sports are really attached to their individual cities. Like there's so much more to them here than in a lot of places. So it could be the same. Country versus country could theoretically be interesting, but ultimately I don't think it should ever go to a franchise system. I just don't like that model. I don't like it in any sport whatsoever.
2035. But money talks, and the NBA franchises in places like London or Paris could be worth a minimum of $500 million.
Money.
The value of the EuroLeague is clear. It has a huge growing market, enormous talent, and big sports investors with hundreds of millions of dollars. The question is whether the EuroLeague is strong enough to resist being taken over by the NBA, and if it can figure out how to make itself profitable before it's too late.
What the hell? Why this underwear was banned at Wimbledon? Okay, I wasn't expecting this. I'm just gonna scoot back a little bit. That was how Europe stole basketball. I've watched a lot of NBA throughout my lifetime, and I've always thought that the seasons were way too long. There's a little less emphasis on team play. And I even before I got into football, I was a big believer in team play. I can't say I'm surprised that ultimately it has shifted in a negative direction overall, especially post-COVID. I really think COVID destroyed the market for the NBA overall, like it did for many different things. But I'm excited to see how the EuroLeague grows. I think competition is healthy. If you have one entire entity take over everything, it eliminates the entire process completely. I like the organic growth with the EuroLeague that this creator just explained. And overall, I just think it's better when a sports culture stays away from the entirety of the franchise model if they can afford to do so. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about the reaction. Very interesting stuff coming out of this video. Again, as a American periodic basketball viewer, it's very cool just to see what's going on the other side of the world with sports that we have a monopoly on over here. So thanks for watching. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this reaction. Make sure to go check out the original creator. I'll leave a link to the video in the description down below. Make sure you like and sub to them. And this will be your boy Jay with another reaction. I hope to catch you in the next one, and I hope you have a great day. Peace.